The Magical Weaver, the story of Rumpelstiltskin. In a quaint village nestled among rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a miller who loved to boast. He often bragged to everyone that his daughter could spin straw into gold. Of course, this was not true at all, but the miller loved to make himself seem more important than he really was. Really. One day, the boastful miller caught the attention of the greedy king who ruled the land. The king summoned the miller to his castle and said, "If your daughter truly can spin straw into gold, bring her to me. I will put her to the test, and if she succeeds, she will be rewarded handsomely." Terrified of angering the king, the miller had no choice but to bring his daughter to the castle. The poor girl, whose name was Anna, was taken to a room filled with piles of straw. The king commanded her, "Spin all this straw into gold by morning, or you will face a dire consequence." Anna was terrified. She didn't know how to spin straw into gold, and she feared what would happen if she failed. Just as she was about to give up hope, a strange little man appeared before her. He had a mischievous grin and eyes that sparkled like stars. "Why are you crying, young maiden?" asked the little man. "I must spin all this straw into gold by morning, or the king will punish me," Anna replied, wiping her tears. The little man chuckled and said, "Fear not, dear maiden. I can help you spin the straw into gold, but you must promise me something in return." Desperate to save herself, Anna agreed without thinking and gave him her necklace in return. The little man sat down at the spinning wheel and began to spin. Whir, whir, whir went the wheel, and before long, all the straw had been turned into gleaming gold thread. When the king saw the room filled with gold the next morning, he was astonished. "You must be a true sorceress," he exclaimed, and he led Anna to an even larger room filled with even more straw. "Tonight, you must spin all this straw into gold as well. If you succeed, I will marry you and make you my queen." Anna was even more frightened this time, but once again, the little man appeared when she began to cry. "What will you give me if I spin this straw into gold for you again?" he asked with a sly smile. Anna looked around desperately and saw a shiny ring on her finger. She promised it to the little man, who began to spin once more. By morning, the entire room was filled with golden thread, and the king was even more amazed. The king was so impressed that he took Anna to an even larger room filled with the finest straw yet. "If you can spin all this straw into gold tonight, I will make you my queen," he declared. Anna was now in tears, for she knew she could not fulfill the king's demand. But just as she began to cry, the little man appeared again. "What will you give me if I spin this straw into gold for you one last time?" he asked. Anna had nothing left to give, so she wept bitterly. "I have nothing left to give you," she sobbed. The little man looked at her thoughtfully. "Promise me your firstborn child when you become queen, and I will spin the straw into gold for you," he said with a serious look. Feeling she had no other choice, Anna agreed, and the little man spun all the straw into gold once more. The king was overjoyed and kept his promise, making Anna his queen. Years passed, and Anna became the queen, forgetting all about the little man and his promise. But one day, she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Suddenly, the little man appeared before her, demanding what she had promised him. Anna was terrified and begged for mercy, but the little man was relentless. "I will give you 3 days to guess my name," he said. "If you can guess it, I will release you from your promise." Anna spent the first 2 days sending messengers throughout the kingdom to find out the little man's name. But no one had ever heard of such a strange name. On the 3rd day, one of her messengers returned with news. "I traveled deep into the forest and came upon a small cottage hidden among the trees," said the messenger. "Outside the cottage, I heard a strange little man singing to himself. 'Rumpelstiltskin, that's my name. Guess it right or suffer shame.'" Anna was filled with joy and relief. When the little man returned that evening, she greeted him with a smile. "Your name is Rumpelstiltskin," she exclaimed triumphantly. Rumpelstiltskin let out a cry of anger and frustration. He stamped his feet and vanished in a cloud of smoke, never to be seen again. Anna learned a valuable lesson that day. She realized that promises should not be made lightly, and that there are consequences for everything we do, even in moments of desperation. From that day forward, she ruled the kingdom wisely and always kept her promises. The story of Rumpelstiltskin teaches us about the importance of honesty and the consequences of making promises. It also shows that there is always a way out of difficult situations, even when it seems impossible. It encourages us to be careful with our words and promises, and to think carefully before making agreements with others.